Ever since man walked on the face of the earth, there have been over 15,000 major wars that have killed close to 4 billion people. Though impossible to calculate accurately, it is estimated that since the beginning of our recorded history, the world has known only about 300 years of peace. Each leader in the world desires to find a lasting solution to the issue that has plagued our beautiful planet centuries over centuries. There have been many movements, conferences, organizations, and NGOs all over the world that promote the idea of world peace, but peace on earth has continued to be just an aspiration. Khilafat Ahmadiyya is the heavenly institution that was prophesied by the peace-loving Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. History has shown that whenever the world suffers disorder and injustice, a spiritually guided man stands up and advises the world on how to achieve peace through the heavenly teachings of Islam. Surur Ahmad was elected as the fifth successor of the promised Messiah alayhi salam. He began his efforts to work for world peace. The platform for peace was set in 2004 when Huzur launched the annual National Peace Symposium. 5 years later, the goal to attain peace was set even higher with the launch of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Prize for the Advancement of Peace in 2009. Huzur has fearlessly addressed the Islamic solution to peace around the world, from Canada to Australia, from Capitol Hill to the British House of Commons, from the European Parliament to the Montage in Beverly Hills, and from Nagoya, Japan to Valencia in Spain. His addresses have been received with warmth and admiration from all parts of the world. To this day, Huzur has visited numerous different countries and given lectures to promote peace.
I have delivered the same message, calling for peace and justice. On many occasions in different parts of the world, I do the same. I do not know how much impact my views have had on those who have listened to me. And I am not aware to what extent they are working towards developing peace within their own circles of influence. Nevertheless, I will, God willing, always continue to carry out my task and my responsibilities of promoting peace, tolerance, justice, and compassion to the corners of the world. I will continue to tell all people that in order to be relieved of the pain and suffering that we face today, we must adopt true justice and equality.
One of the momentous occasions was in May 2012, when Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V, may Allah be his helper, delivered the address about Islam's teachings of loyalty and love for one's nation at the German military headquarters.
We observe that the world has become a global village. Mankind has become very closely knit together. The people of all nations, religions, and cultures are found in all countries. And so this requires that the leaders of every nation should consider and respect the feelings and sentiments of all people. The leaders and their governments should strive to create laws that foster an environment and spirit of truth and justice, rather than making laws that are a means of causing distress and frustration to the people.
Huzur delivered a historic address at the Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. on the 27th of June 2012. Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V, may Allah be his helper, met with the leading congressmen and senators and other leaders at the Capitol Hill. The meeting, which was the first of its kind, provided an opportunity to some of the most influential leaders in the United States to hear firsthand Islam's message of world peace. Huzur spoke about the path to peace, just relations between nations, and told leaders of global influence that true justice and peace can never be achieved without each other.
The truth is that peace and justice are inseparable. You cannot have one without the other. And certainly, this principle is something that all wise and intelligent people understand. In relation to achieving world peace, all of you regularly express your opinions and indeed make great efforts. Your creative and intelligent minds allow you to present great ideas, plans, and indeed a vision of peace. Thus, this issue does not require me to speak from a worldly or political perspective. But instead, my entire focus will be on how to establish peace based on religion. And so the United States, as the world's largest power, should play its role in acting with true justice and with such good intentions as I have described. If it does so, then the world will always remember with great admiration your great efforts.
Brussels, a city that is known for its European Parliament building, this time hosted the Khalifa of Islam, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad. Huzur delivered an historic address on the topic of the key to peace, global unity, to the members of the Parliament of the European Union.
Another key principle Islam teaches is that in an effort to develop peace, it is necessary for all parties to never display any form of pride or arrogance. This was perfectly illustrated by the Holy Prophet, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, when he famously said, a black person is not superior to a white person, and nor is a white person superior to a black person. The countries that derive benefit from the European Union and the countries that are under the influence of the big powers all come to accept this, or even the underdeveloped countries, then and only then peace can emerge. Further, only if those nations who have veto power at the United Nations realize they will be held to account for their actions, can justice be truly established. In fact, I will go one step further and say that the right of veto power can never allow or facilitate the establishment of peace, because clearly not all countries are at an equal level.
On May the 11th, 2013, Huzur was welcomed by various leaders at the prestigious Montage Hotel in Beverly Hills, a venue famous for hosting heads of state and high-ranking political officials. Upon arrival, Huzur addressed about a dozen media outlets in a 30-minute press conference on a range of global issues. He then participated in a group meeting with prominent political officials that included Lieutenant Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, Chief of the Police for the City of Los Angeles, and 4 other elected members of Congress.
Today, when we, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, raise the slogan of love for all and hatred for none as a means to establish global peace, we do so directly in fulfillment of the teachings of the Holy Quran and the practice of the Holy Prophet, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him.
After his visit to the United States, Huzur Anwar took the same message of peace to other world leaders. Hazrat Khalifatul Masih was benevolently welcomed to the New Zealand Parliament in the capital city, Wellington. Huzur addressed the members of the government in the Grand Hall of the Parliament House. Attending the event were members of Parliament, city councilmen, professors, police commissioners, and many foreign council members. High commissioners and ambassadors of Israel and Iran were also present.
The means of today's wars include aerial bombardment, poison gas, and even chemical weapons. And as I said, there is also the potential use of the most horrific weapon of all, the nuclear bomb. Consequently, the wars of today are entirely different to those of the past. Because today wars could potentially wipe mankind from the face of the earth.
On 17 October 2016, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V, may Allah be his helper, was welcomed to Canada's Houses of Parliament by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, cabinet ministers, and over 50 members of Parliament and senators.
The last time we met was a number of years ago, and I didn't yet occupy this office, but we had wonderful conversations, as we will this time, about the Ahmadi community and the challenges they face and the opportunities to work together on promoting love for all and hatred for none.
Later in the day, His Holiness delivered a historic keynote address to an audience of more than 225 people at a special reception held at the Sir John A. Macdonald Building at the Canadian Parliament in Ottawa.
If only the major powers and the international institutions, such as the United Nations, had truly acted upon their founding principles under all circumstances, then we would not have seen the toxic plague of terrorism infect so many parts of the world. We would not have seen the world's peace and security repeatedly undermined and destroyed. And we certainly would not have witnessed the huge refugee crisis which now confounds and frightens the people of Europe and other developed countries. At a broader level, the United Nations must also play its role in establishing peace in the world, unencumbered by politics, injustice, or favoritism. I hope and pray that Allah the Almighty enables the United Nations and the world governments to act in this way so that true and long-lasting peace may be established. The alternative does not bear thinking about, because if we continue as we are, then the world is charging madly towards a huge catastrophe in the shape of another world war.
On 28 October 2016, Hadrat Khalifatul Masih V, may Allah be his helper, delivered a historic lecture at York University, Canada, one of the largest universities of the country.
The former United Nations Assistant Secretary General, Anthony Banbury, published an article outlining the failing of the organization in which he served. Writing in the New York Times, he said, "I love the United Nations, but it is failing. There is too much bureaucracy and little result. Too many decisions are made for political reasons, rather than following the values and objectives of the UN or by facts on the ground." Then he says, for the UN to continue and prosper, it needs a complete overhaul. And so an outside panel should examine the system and recommend changes. We who are members of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community try our utmost to save the world and humanity from all destruction. This is because in this era we have accepted the Imam of the age, who was sent by Allah as the promised Messiah and who came as a servant to the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who himself was sent as a mercy for all of mankind. It is because we follow the teachings of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, that we feel extreme pain and anguish in our hearts at the state of the world. And it is that pain which drives us in our efforts to try and save humanity from destruction and suffering. Therefore, I and all other Ahmadi Muslims are striving to fulfill our responsibilities towards achieving peace in the world.
Promoting religious freedom is an essential building block for peace and stability here and throughout the world. In this, we are allied with His Holiness, a courageous champion of religious freedom and of peace.
The huge respect we all have, for your work day by day in making a reality of peace and brotherhood across the communities in this country and across the world.
Let us make this resolution to promote the message of peace and brotherhood, which is your message to mankind, that people of different religions should not quarrel and fight with each other, but should accept and tolerate and live together in that spirit of brotherhood and peace, which is the essence of your religion.
The huge value and importance of serving others should be imprinted in the hearts of every single Ahmadi Muslim. Allah the Almighty has granted each person many abilities or capabilities. And so it is their duty to use those God-given gifts to help others, and particularly those in need. Every person should utilize his individual talents or expertise for the sake of others. For example, doctors can offer their medical services, teachers can provide education, engineers can offer their skills, whilst those people blessed with wealth can and should utilize it for the sake of others. These are just a few examples, and there are many more. In terms of financial sacrifice, I am pleased to say that with the grace of Allah, the Almighty, there are many Ahmadis who spend in the way of Allah for the benefit of mankind, and who also sacrifice their time and effort in this cause. Every member should utilize their abilities and skills for the sake of others, and should be ready to accept any form of discomfort, hardship, or sacrifice for the sake of giving ease and comfort to those who are in need or who have been deprived in any way. They should not seek any worldly reward, but their sole motivation should be the love and prayer of God the Almighty.
Love for all, hatred for none. Love for all, hatred for none.